If you remember one thing from my presentation today, I want you guys to remember population management. That's really what rootworm management is all about, is managing populations. In order to do that, we have to be out in our fields knowing what's going on. So my son is a huge baseball fan, and he loves pitching. And so his hero is Jake Arrieta. So I want to ask you a question. When Mr. Arrieta goes to the mound for the day, does he just go in blind? Or does he go in there knowing every batter that he's going to face that day, knows if the guy's hot or if he's not, knows where that guy can hit and where that guy can't hit? He knows what's going on. That's what we have to be doing in our cornfields if we want to manage corn rootworms. What's your plan? And here again, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to know your population levels. And you're thinking, Troy, you know what? I'm planting your guys' pyramided products. I'm using Herculex. It's the best trait on the market. Why should I be so dang worried about knowing my population levels? I want to go back to how a rootworm trait works in our corn plants. And I want you guys to finish this statement for me. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Okay, well, what do we want to do to a rootworm's heart? We want to stop the dang thing from beating, right? It's the same thing. We have to go, to get to his heart, we have to go through his gut. Which means when this protein that's in this root has to get to a toxic level in there, what does he have to do? He has to eat enough corn root to basically kill himself. So if we have 1 or 2 rootworm larvae chewing on this thing right here, we're going to be okay? Absolutely. What if we have 20 or 30 corn rootworm larvae chewing on this thing? Are we going to be okay? We're not. Even with the best trait, they have to eat enough to die. And if you have enough of them, they're going to chew through it. All right? Keep that in mind. All right, so again, it's not just a corn-soybean rotation or a corn-corn rotation. We can do things in both of them if we know the populations to make profitable decisions to help us make money. So again, what are you doing to manage those populations, and what other options do you have? And I'm hoping the bottom part here is I'm going to plant a few seeds in your guys' heads before I'm done to give you some options to help you manage things. Okay, the economics of corn rootworm. It's a $1 billion pest. So if we start thinking about $1 billion that either we lose in yield or it costs us to try to manage this thing every year, you take $1 billion and divide it by 350 corn, that's 1.4 million acres of corn that rootworm take from us every year. I'm going to ask you, how many acres are you losing to corn rootworm in your operation? And a lot of times you don't see it. It's kind of like soybean cyst nematode. You don't see the yield loss, but it's there. I've done enough rootworm trials to know you can have perfectly good looking corn out there and you're losing 5-10 bushel. Real easy. So all it takes is a quarter node to start seeing maybe up to a 10 bushel yield loss. Quiz time. Which one of these root systems has a quarter node gone? I see some left and I see some right. Actually, it's this one. Point is it's very, very hard to tell. So we got to be out there. We got to know what's going on if we're going to be successful. So how much does it cost to kind of monitor this situation? Well, the old spade isn't too expensive. And I want to talk a little bit about these sticky traps here today. And they're generally around $1, but I think if you ask real nice of your Pioneer sales representative, they'll give them to you for free. And these things are pretty cool, and they can do a pretty good job of helping us know what's going on out in that field. So again, to determine those rootworm populations, we want to go out, we're going to have to do a little sweat labor, the end of June, dig some roots, see what's going on out there, what's chewing. And then we're going to talk about these sticky traps, okay? The one nice thing about sticky traps is not only are they going to tell us how many beetles are out there, they're going to tell us what kind of beetles we have out there. What's this guy right here? What's that one? It's a western. Being it's black and gold, I refer to them as the Hawkeyes. You know? They're a pain in our, that fits, right? And these guys right here, what's that one? He's a northern. And I refer to them, being it's green, as the Packers. My wife saw this presentation laying out here the other day, and she's like, what's that? I said, it's a northern corn rootworm. I refer to them as the Packers. You mean like Aaron Rodgers? I said, if that's what you want it to be, so be it. So that's the thing sticky traps can do. We can determine our population and we can determine our species. And that helps us make decisions, especially profitable decisions. I want you to take a look at this right up here. So here's all of our sticky trap work from 2016. And you'll see the different colored dots. The dark green means we didn't find that. We put that sticky trap out there for a whole week and we didn't get even a single corn rootworm. That's a pretty good deal. Light green, we're talking less than 20, 21. We got the yellow, and we're starting to get in some iffy situations. And then also we've got the red, and that's a serious situation. I want you to ask yourself a question. Where do you see the reds? Are they all conglomerated together? Is there a whole bunch of red ones together? There's some greens, some dark greens, and some light greens, and then bang, there's a red one right in the dead center of it. What's that tell you? It says shows that it can be highly variable. We're talking literally across the fence. You can go from almost nothing to a whole bunch. And that's why we got to be out in our fields knowing what's going on. And here's what we're talking about when I said earlier about the whole knowing your species kind of type thing. You can see in our corn on corn rotations, we primarily have those dang Hawkeyes causing problems in our fields. In our corn soybean rotations, as you guys probably well know around here, a lot of times it's the northerns causing the problems. But we need that information before we make some decisions here. So what should we be doing, Troy? What are some best management practices? If you can remember three things: rotation, rotation, and rotation. There's three different things that we can do to switch stuff up. I'll go back to Arietta on the mound. Does he stand up there and just huck fastballs? What's he do? He changes it up so that way the batter that he's facing doesn't know what's coming. Oh, is he going to throw a changeup? He's going to throw a slider, curveball? What's he going to do? That's what we need to be doing with our rootworm populations too. Changing things up, making sure they don't get used to the same thing time and time and time again. Corn on corn, guys, you're probably thinking, okay, rotation, that's pretty easy, and it is. Throw some soybeans or alfalfa in there, you know, hey, we break the cycle. I'm going to throw something out at you here. For you guys that are doing corn soybean rotations, think about adding a year of corn. And you're probably all sitting there going, wait a minute, Troy, you're telling me to manage rootworm populations, I'm supposed to grow more corn? But let's think about it. If I'm that Green Bay Packer, and I just got placed in the field in the 2016 growing season, and I have extended diapause in my genetics, what am I going to do in 2017? I'm going to sleep all summer, right? And I'm going to bet my life on the fact that it's going to be soybeans this year, and in 2018 I'm going to wake up because I'm betting my life that you're going to grow corn. And it's probably going to be non-rootworm corn because you're thinking it's corn after soybeans. I don't need a trait. So if we switch that up, if I'm here in 2016 and I'm betting my life that you grow soybeans this year, but I grow corn, and I sleep all summer, 2018 comes, what are you doing? You're planting soybeans here. I wake up, and guess what? I got no corn roots to put in my gut, so my heart dies. So think about that. And in 2015, we saw record amounts of extended diapause in the state of Iowa, and we saw that guys that were doing that, a corn soybean rotation, did not have extended diapause in most cases. So it works. All right, alternate tassel dates. I should say alternating pollination dates. And you're thinking, Troy, what the heck are you talking about there? Well, corn rootworm adults, what are they looking for? Pollen. So if this field got planted early or it's an early CRM field, this field got planted late or it's a full season, and we see it time and time again. Guys that have rootworm problems, if you go back and look at the history of that field, full season or planted late, full season planted late, full season planted late, and we build up that population, we have problems. Rotate in soil applied insecticide or adult management. I had to say that to be the politically correct part. I like to say beetle bombing. You guys are all probably been farming for a long time. You know what soil applied insecticide can do. Throwing that in there every once in a while can be a pretty good thing. I've done a ton of research up in northeast Iowa in corn on corn situations. We almost always break even or make money with soil applied insecticide on top of the trait. It's not something I would recommend doing all the time, but we can throw in a curveball at these guys by doing it every once in a while, especially if we need to lower populations. The adult management part, okay? Beetle bombing. The whole idea is to kill these beetles before they lay their eggs so that way we can manage the population. Here's an experiment we did. In 2015, we sprayed half of the field. We put sticky traps in both the half that we sprayed and the half that we didn't. And look what happened to our sticky traps. You think there was many rootworm feeding on roots on this half of the field? What about that? You're probably looking at a 10 bushel loss on that side of the field. So it works when it's properly timed. We're always out in the fields. Your sales rep can help you with that. Okay, so what did we learn? Manage your population. Make a plan with your sales reps this year to get out there and figure out what your populations are doing. Determine what your populations are. Evaluate the cost and benefit of each one, and then execute the plan. Okay? And it works. It really does work when you know the population and manage accordingly.